Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, Islamic Finance and Properties. आज हमारे साथ बड़े distinguished guest हैं, a scholar, a PhD. He's well versed in Islamic law, Sharia law. Faisal bhai, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
हम लोग बात कर रहे थे just before the break about do we really need to own a house or should we rent until we can afford one. उसके ऊपर आप जरा थोड़ा सा touch कर रहे थे. Or I would request you to continue that if that's okay.
I mean, I'm referring to our last session where we discussed the economic rationale and the Islamic ethos. What is the position of having a house? We discussed that last time. And we quoted the verse that a house, second, is a place where you got peace, tranquility. It has its own raison d'etre, why you must have a house.
Absolutely.
Under Sharia. But things are changing, and I also said that we are looking within the British context as compared to the continent, European continent, where the culture is not necessarily to own a house, but to rent. In UK, because of the economic environment, we have a tendency to go and own a house. Now, we discussed the various fatawas also, if you remember, those who have taken it's haram, the conventional one, and those who say, no, there are some issues where if it comes to the rule of need and necessity, we can. And they give their own dalail, which I'm not going to go repeat it again. Now, the main point, I think, is when the position is you have a house, do you want to empower yourself? I think the question that individual must know is your home, your house, the way you want it to be. You want to maybe have majlis in your house. You want to have dulls in your house. You want a tranquil house, right? And you want it to be this color and that color. And you don't want to pay your rental and it goes after 20, 30 years, you realize you haven't achieved anything. Now, that is one position. You want to empower yourself. And this is what those who have applied the rule of necessity have looked into that. And they bring a principle, one of the hadiths of the Prophet, peace be on him, Islam is not to decrease, but to increase. They bring that principle as well. Of course, you can differ with that. As I said, there are differences of opinion. A typical example, our Eid Salah, our Ramadan, does it mean now if you decide to follow one country and not the other country, the day you fast, your fast is not counted? Or the day you read your Eid Salah is not accounted? I mean, let's look at it. Yeah. In other things also, we are having this position, right? So you try to follow a mazhab, that's the best position as far as I'm concerned, is as far as possible. But even that, if you look at Mawlana Ashraf Thanvi rahmatullah, who was one of the greatest scholars the Indo-Pak subcontinent produced, more than 1,200 books he wrote. In his book, Tuhfatul Ulama, 2 volumes, he mentioned something very important, very a place. He quoted the Akabir, the great ulama like Rashid Gangohi, etc., who have said in fiqhul mu'amalat, in social transactions, not to make life difficult, you can follow other mazahib. I'm giving authorities for whatever I quote, right? You don't have to stick on that when it comes to fiqhul mu'amalat. And that's the position of the leading position of the mini Sharia board, including the AOIP, the Accounting and Auditing Organization of Islamic Financial Institutions, which set up the Sharia standards which the industry adopts, which set up the accounting standards which the industry adopts. Yeah? So I'm giving authorities what I'm saying. People want to accept, don't want to accept, that they have a choice of that.
That is their choice.
Yeah. But
absolutely.
As an academic, I'm talking here, as a Sharia scholar, sitting on Sharia board, we see all those permutations in front of us. Not one, right? Various permutations. So having a home, who doesn't want to have a house? A home, let's use the word home. A second, a bait. There's so many terms used in the Quran to indicate that, to show the ethos of owning a home. If you got the commitment, it is Islamic, you go for it, by all means. If you don't have the commitment, don't go for it. That's my view, right?
And absolutely, and that's I think very important. Actually, the importance here is the choice. I think what you've certainly opened my eyes in terms of the choice and the need and so on and so forth, and then you can make a concise decision in terms of what you want to do and which way you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my teacher in Darul Uloom, when I was doing my final year, we studied Bukhari Sharif. He said that, "Hamara kaam kehna hai, manwana nahi."
Subhanallah.
Our responsibility is to say, okay, this
is what it is.
It's not our duty to force you to follow the fiqh.
No.
Right? That's not the responsibility of ulama. We've got to understand that. Our duty is to tell you, this is a position, this is a fatwa, the difference of opinion, right? You stick to one. This is what the great ulama say. If you want to follow alim X, follow him in everything, because every alim or mufti got a methodology of deriving law. We have to appreciate that. What a fatwa means? A fatwa means on that specific ruling, this is a mansha of Allah. This is what Allah wants. That is the job of a mufti. He will make ijtihad, he will derive the law and say, this is it. Now you got different methodologies. This is why you got 4 mazahibs. In fact, there are more than 4 mazahibs. If you read Al-Mughni by Ibn Qudama, you come up to 13, which people don't even know, right? Sufyan Thawri was a great mujtahid, contemporary of Abu Hanifa, etc. So that is the position of the ulama. The ulama will guide us. I'm not talking me, I'm talking the great ulama, like Sheikh Taqisab, etc. They're great ulama. Right? They will guide us, and at times we are not mature enough to appreciate what they are saying because of a lack of faqahat. This is what Rasulullah says in a hadith, "Man yuridillahu bihi khairan yufaqihu fi din." Whoever Allah wants good for him, gives him the understanding of deen. And Rasulullah makes this dua for Ibn Abbas, "Allahumma faqihu fi din wa alim wa ta'wil." Allah give me the understanding of deen and the science of interpretation. That's not for everybody. This is why, if you want to follow one school, one alim, stick to him. Stick to him, then you won't follow your nafs. Like I mentioned, then we follow our desires, we're doing fatwa shopping. That now we are following our desires. We are not
no, ye keh diya, to wo follow kar liya, that suits me, this suits me, or that suits me.
So if you want to follow Mufti A, stick to Mufti A, you trust him, stick to him. Because he will be responsible by Allah, not you. Because there's another hadith on that. If a judge, he becomes a judge, but by al-qiyas, he can apply to an alim as well, a mujtahid. If he made a mistake in his judgment, in his ijtihad, he get 1 sawab, 1 reward. If he's right, he got 2. Rasul doesn't say because he made wrong, he go in Jahannam. He's rewarded because the effort put in there. This is why you call it ijtihad, from the word jod. A lot of intellectual effort put in to get 1 small ruling.
Absolutely.
1 ruling, we think it's easy. Mufti Shafi Sahib Rahmatullah Alayh, in his Muqaddimah of his book, Blood Transfusion and Organ Transplant, he said in Karachi, in those days, they just got independence, the ulama were gathering every night, I think it was a Saturday, if my memory serves me well, about 5 leading ulama of Karachi was coming. And he said, to pronounce on those modern mas'ala is as if crossing Pul Sirat. That was the word of Mufti Shafi Rahmullah, the Grand Mufti of Pakistan, not me. So when a Mufti is, you've got to appreciate that. He put so much effort.
Absolutely.
So many candles he burned at night to give 1 ruling. And we say, no, let me look for something else.
No, because this doesn't suit me, let me go on.
That is not, Muslim must not behave this way.
No.
So stick to one alim, that's the advice I'm giving.
And if your alim says it's okay, then it's okay. If it's not, then it's not. Don't shop around. Acha, thoda sa zara, because we're coming towards the end of our show, and I wanted to just get an overall summarized view of everything as well. Difference between Islamic and conventional mortgages, just to a little bit more, not a summary, but a little bit more elaborately.
All right. In conventional mortgage, the bank gives you the money, you go and buy it, and they take a charge on that.
And you are solely responsible for the property in terms of whether
there's a defect in it.
Exactly. There is a deficit or a profit, you're responsible for it.
In Islamic mortgage, the bank has to buy it first, take the risk in it, the liability in it, put an effort, check the house, etc., and then sell it to you. So it is not a debt financing. It is an asset-backed financing.
Okay.
That opened the gate of understanding the risk profile now. Who carries the risk, right? The bank partially and the client also, and this is what you call the PLS system, profit and loss sharing. One is making a profit. Al-Kharaj bi-zaman, bi-daman, al-ghun bil-ghun, al-kasb, I mentioned Ibn Arabi last time. That underpins the contractual engineering. Whereas there, no, it's a straightforward riba. Okay. Then the issue of ownership, right? That is very important. The bank owns it and they sell it. Then the calculation of the quantum of profit. Some countries, they try to follow the rule of other banks. In UK, they try to follow LIBOR. Now it's going to change. As I told you, at the end of the year, we're going to move to another benchmark. But the reason they follow LIBOR is not that LIBOR is haram. It's just a benchmark, right? So you're using a benchmark. Both are using the same. But nothing prevents the Islamic bank to use another benchmark. Masalan, example, you can use a rental index. You can use a rental index, right? So that is another thing to appreciate. Another thing to appreciate also is the money that the Islamic bank is giving you, the people who put money there, they're not depositors, they are investors. And therefore they share the profit when the bank makes the profit with the mortgage, whatever it is. Whereas in a conventional bank, you are when you put your money, you are a depositor. So the source of the income is very important to understand.
And where that income or where that money is coming from as well.
Your Muslim open the account.
With a Muslim, yeah, exactly. So
even non-Muslim can open an account. I mean, Al-Rayyan Bank, Islamic Bank of Britain, if you remember, the very first client, according to my reading, was in Edgware Road, was a non-Muslim, if I remember well. If I remember well, according to what I read. I may be wrong. So Islam, this is fiqh al-mu'amalat. You do, why confine it to Muslim? In fact, I was in France. They are saying whether we must use the word Islamic or we must use the word ethical.
Wow.
Because you want to expand. You don't want to confine Sharia, the transaction, to Muslims only. That is not fair.
Do you think that if we did actually use the word ethical rather than Islamic, because of all the situation with Islamophobia and so on and so forth, do you think that this product would be far more reachable?
My view, yes. Because I recently have been approached by one fund manager to look into a fund, investment fund. And then I was telling him, but why are you not calling it ethical? Because whatever Islam is giving you is ethical in any case.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, don't drink alcohol, don't eat pork, don't invest in porn. It's ethical, right? You're Christian, you're Jews, you're etc. Illa mashallah, but a general rule, something ethics is human nature, right? So what we're offering is ethical in any case. I never realized this. Why am I confining my product to Muslims? For him, that was eureka, because your Muslim population is limited in the country it is, and suddenly you got a big market open for you.
Because there's also a situation where I think with the Islamic mortgages, because I was going to ask you something else, but unfortunately we've come to the end of our program now. Faizal Bhai, it's been an honor, and to get an opinion from a scholar is phenomenal, and I hope कि हमारे जो नाजरीन हैं उन लोगों ने सब ने एंजॉय भी किया होगा और ये देखा भी होगा. Obviously बात है, फैसल भाई is not giving you his well, he is giving you an option in terms of, and then it is up to you in terms of which way you want to go. And that is what the idea of the program was to actually give people a choice in terms of, okay, ye bhi ho sakta hai aur ye bhi ho sakta hai. And then it is up to you in terms of which route you want to go. और हमारे प्रोग्राम का मकसद यही था, और I hope कि आप लोगों ने enjoy किया होगा. Faizal bhai, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
I just want to say that what I've explained is within the British context. Don't take it outside the UK. The ruling will be different, the views will be different, because the surveys are different, the data are different, right? I hope the listeners can understand that. Also, I just want to say that I have given the views because as an academic, that is the way my mind works, right?
Absolutely.
As a lawyer, this is how my mind works, right? We got people from different strata of society coming to us. You got to look at the different reality at the ground level, right? One is, you say what is in the book, one is reflecting what is a problem at the grassroots level. One thing I'm to say, I'm really sorry to say that. You will see that how many % of people read Salatul Fajr, right? Before we go and discuss big thing, I think our priority is to get our Salah in order. These are farais. Allah will ask us. The first question on the day of Qiyamah is our Salah. So, Subhanallah bihamdihi, Subhanakallahumma, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.
थैंक यू सो मच फैसल भाई. नाज़रीन, उम्मीद है आप लोगों को डिफरेंट ऑफ ओपिनियंस मिली हैं और आई होप कि वीव एजुकेटेड यू अ लिटिल बिट मोर इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग इस्लामिक फाइनेंस. अगले हफ्ते मैं आपके पास फिर से आऊँगा 6 बजे इंशाल्लाह. अगले हफ्ते तक अलविदा.